Sangam sharanam gacchami, buddham sharanam. Tashidelek. Hello, Tashidelek, everyone, and happy Sakadawa day of Eve. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Because I'm using this mic during is directly linked to the computer. I've never done that before. I think.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Very audible. So, as you have seen, we will try to stick with the prayer list that we shared, under the link. I mean, under this live video, which somehow I cannot see, but. Echo?
Oh no. Again?
Well, I think we just go with it because last time we stopped because there was echo, and then we had to start a whole new live session because it didn't work afterwards. So, it's since we do not know how these things function. I mean, I can try by removing the mic, but I doubt if it will get any better.
Well, some others have no problem. It's
Okay.
only a few. So keep going.
Okay. So, I talked in the previous 3 different videos about the life of the Buddha and about the types of teachers Buddha met even before he became Siddhartha. And then we talked about. In my attempt to talk about the Sutra, I had to talk about the history of how Buddhist sutras came to be written down. And before they were written down, they were collected by 500 great beings. They were all arhat, they were all liberated beings. And it's very important for us to stress that and to know that, because sometimes I see even Buddhist people doubting some authenticity of these sutras. If liberation and such things are not acceptable for you, then I guess there's something else. But if you accept a liberated being, completely liberated being, then beings who can remember hundreds, thousands of their lives, then I think remembering a few words Buddha spoke shouldn't be a problem for them. But that's that, and this reasoning, of course, only works for Buddhists, but since we are preserving, observing the day of Gautama, so it's a very Buddhist scenario, I guess. Then I talked about the importance of Ananda, since Ananda was the one who collected the sutras, especially the whole sort of, especially this sutra, and this sutra, the importance of it and all. Um, and it was a little bit humbling for us, because when we announced this program, there weren't that many announcements of the great masters going to teach, But after we announced, then after some days, then many masters announced that they're going to be teaching, and then now it's too late. We cannot withdraw it, so we left it like this, and I hope that most of you watched, like teachings of Dongsa Rinpoche and other great masters, rather than, going through our stuff. And our videos will stay here on YouTube. So tomorrow, day after, whenever you have time, you can watch. So I think if we go by German time and German discipline, we are already 6 minutes late for the prayer session. This I want to explain a little bit. Of course, Shakyamuni Buddha is sort of our main deity, and he is the teacher, our teacher of this time, and especially teachers like His Holiness Dalai Lama would always stress, and he would always, almost to an extent, that he would regret that Tibetans they feel somehow more closer to other Buddhas and Bodhisattvas like Amitabha or Padmasambhava, Avalokiteshvara, rather than Shakyamuni Buddha, Of course, it's not in the case with each and everyone, but generally it's like this, and His Eminence Manjushri Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche would also again and again stress the importance of going back to our roots and remembering Shakyamuni, recollection of Shakyamuni. He would really encourage. And I dream of slowly forming some sort of a sadhana, not a sadhana like a puja type, like just like people do, like Tara Puja or Medicine Buddha Puja, like a very simple yet profound pujas of Shakyamuni, and maybe hopefully do it here in the center or wherever I go once a month at least, during the full moon or no moon or no moon, But anyway, that's that. And also with this, we also start our Sutra program, Sutra project. We also wanted to talk about the sutras of the Buddha. Now, of course, ordinary being like me actually shouldn't even we don't qualify even to take names of the sutras, rather teach on them. But we have two choices. One's just don't talk about the sutra and let it be, forgotten, or talk about it and subject yourself to mockery. So I think I will talk about it, and so in a way, this I don't know what will happen. Many of our wishes go down the drain many times. Things change, our ideas change, feelings change. But for now, this is also sort of the first, program into the Sutra project, and I would consider it like a inauguration of it with this sutra. So, of course, as an ordinary being, I would really like to think that it's not meaningless. I would really like to believe that that it really awakens countless doors of merit in our mind stream and the mind stream of whoever come in contact with us. So I think we start. We will I request you to please sit straight wherever you are, and just do not break the meditation posture. Backbone straight, shoulders even, chin a little bit bent, and eyes right in front of yourself. Hands, if possible, like this, palms joined together, and just for 1 or 2 minutes, don't speak, don't move. Thoughts can arise, it cannot arise. We just watch the body and we don't move. Please. Thank you. Then I would request you to invite Shakyamuni Buddha in front of you, wherever you are. Buddha being omniscient and Buddha being free from birth and death. Buddha being beyond time. There is no such phenomena as death for the Buddha. So let's ignore the idea that Buddha died 2,500 or 3,000 years ago. And let's recollect the actual Buddha that is beyond birth and death. And that Buddha we invite in front of us. And of course, our Lord, our teacher, the first liberated being of our time, Shakyamuni Buddha, in front of us. And those who can do and who usually do elaborate visualizations, I leave you to your device. The rest of us, very simple, very simple. We visualize that Buddha is sitting under the Bodhi tree, which symbolizes the liberation of the Buddha, right? So, and on a very simple seat made of kusha grass, in India we have this long grass which people use. It's considered very auspicious. And just that, you in front of Buddha, looking up at the Buddha, and Buddha's gaze fixed on you. And I don't know, let's just sit straight and look at Buddha. Look at his eyes, look at his nose, look at his hair. Just look at Buddha. Or look at the Bodhi tree, each leaves, like that. And we, let's make it formal, let's sit straight again. And like a poor subject in front of a benevolent, kind, mighty king, we are in front of the Buddha. Completely ignorant, samsaric being, tortured by life, birth, old age, sickness, and death, tortured by, gain and loss, and so many samsaric trappings, And in front of us is one who has left everything behind, who has gone beyond all such trappings. And like that, very simple. So please sit again. Yes, it's not long. Oh, thank you. Then you have the list, right? I say again, the prayer list are there. You have to look into the description of this live video, something. And the first one, now keep the Buddha there. Stay in front of the Buddha throughout the prayer session, Buddha is, how to say, immovable, unshakable in front of you. And we are all kneeled in front of the Buddha, seated in front of the Buddha, and with our joints, like hands like this, and we make these prayers. So most of these prayers are from sutras. There I didn't add any prayer written by ordinary beings. Not even by Tibetans, Tibetan masters. It is from sutra. Only one prayer is written by Nagarjuna. The praise to the 12 deeds of the Buddha. The rest are from sutras, So first we will do the Noble Sutra of recalling the 3 jewels. I pause a little bit so you can get to your prayers text. And it will be in English. We're reading it in English. Yeah. Let's be afterwards. Yes, the Noble Sutra of recalling the 3 jewels. Okay. Homage to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, the transcendent, accomplished conqueror, the Tathagata who has attained suchness, the Arhat who has conquered all foes, is a perfectly and completely enlightened Buddha, endowed with insight and worthy of reverence. The Sugata who has reached the state of bliss, the knower of the entire world, the guide and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of gods and humans, the Buddha Bhagavat, the Tathagata is in harmony with all merit. He does not waste the sources of virtue. He is fully adorned with patience. He is the foundation of the treasures of merit. He is ornamented with the excellent minor marks. He is the full blossoming of the major marks. His activity is timely and fitting. Seeing him, there is nothing displeasing. He brings true joy to those who have faith. His insight overwhelms all in its splendor. His powers are invincible. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of all bodhisattvas. He is the sovereign of all the noble ones. He is the guide who leads beings to the city of nirvana. He has measureless wisdom. He possesses inconceivable fearlessness. His speech is utterly pure. Its tones are melodious. One can never have enough of looking at him. His form is without comparison. He is unsullied by the realm of desire. He is quite unsullied by the realm of form. He is not caught up in the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is totally liberated from the aggregates. He is not possessed with the constituents of ordinary experience. He is in control of the sense fields. He has cut right through the knots. He is completely liberated from torment. He is freed from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of all the Buddhas of past, present, and future. He does not dwell in nirvana. He abides in perfect finality. He remains on the level where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the authentic and supreme qualities of the embodiment of the Buddha. The sacred Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. It is excellent in meaning, excellent in words and syllables. It is distinctive. It is totally complete. It is utterly pure. It completely purifies. The Buddha teaches the Dharma perfectly. It brings unerring vision. It is without affliction. It is constant and always timely. It is trustworthy when applied. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. The wise can validate it through their own awareness. The Dharma taught by the Buddha relies entirely on training the mind. It is truly delivering. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is all embracing. It is constant. It is the cessation of all uncertainty. As for the Sangha of the great vehicle, they enter thoroughly. They enter with awareness. They enter straightforwardly. They enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with palms joined together. They are worthy of receiving prostrations. They are a glorious field of merit. Offering to them brings great purification. They are an object of generosity. They are in every way the greatest object of generosity. Then I request you to now move on to the next prayer, which is praise of the Buddha. Okay. Great praise of the 12 acts of the Buddha. I give you time. Okay. This is composed by Arya Nagarjuna. I think it's based on the 12 acts of the Buddha taught in the Lalita Vistara Sutra. It's translated, you can read it in the 84,000. It's called The Play in Full, I believe. Okay. With skillful means and compassion, you were born in the Shakya clan. Unconquerable by others, you vanquished Mara's hordes. Your physical form resplendent like a mountain of gold. To you, the king of the Shakyas, I pay homage. You I shall praise, who first awakened the mind of enlightenment, then completed the accumulations of merit and wisdom, and now in this age, through the vast sway of your actions, have become the Lord and protector of living beings. Homage to you, who, having taught the gods, knew the time had come to tame the human world, and descending from the god realm like a great elephant, foresaw the family of your birth and entered the womb of Maya Devi. Homage to you, Prince of the Shakyas, born after 10 months in the auspicious Lumbini Grove, where Brahma and Indra revered you, your supreme marks, proving you were destined to be enlightened. Homage to you, lion among men, in all your youthful vigor, displaying your prowess in the games at Anga Magadha, where you triumphed over the proud contestants, so that not one could stand as your rival. Homage to you, who, to comply with worldly convention and avoid all misdeeds, took on a queen and courtiers, and by acting with such skillful means, so you ruled the kingdom. Very nice translation. Homage to you, who saw that samsara is wholly futile, renounced the life of a householder, and traveling through the sky, ordained yourself before the Vishuddha Stupa. Homage to you, who intent on persevering till enlightened, for 6 years practiced austerities on the banks of the Niranjana and taking diligence to its ultimate perfection, attained the supreme samadhi. Homage to you who, seeking to make meaningful all your efforts made throughout beginningless time, sat unmoving in the Vajra posture beneath the Bodhi tree in Magadha and awakened into true Buddhahood, attaining perfect enlightenment. Homage to you who, in your compassion, gazed at once upon living beings, then turned the wheel of Dharma in sacred places like Varanasi and established disciples in the three vehicles. Homage to you who destroyed evil-minded opponents and by defeating the 6 teachers of the Tirthikas, Devadatta and the rest, as well as the Maras in Varanasi. You were the mighty sage, victorious in battle. Homage to you who performed great miracles in Sravasti, unmatched in their splendor in all the 3 realms, and through the offerings made by God, humans, and other beings, caused the teachings to prosper and increase. Homage to you who, to spur the lazy onto the Dharma, left your body, though immortal and like a Vajra, and passed into parinirvana in the pure abode of Kusinagara. Homage to you who, to show that you had not in reality perished, and so that beings of the future could gain merit, emanated a wealth of relics and caused your remains to be divided into 8 portions. Through the merit of briefly praising in this way the great acts of the Lord, who is master of the teachings, may the actions of all living beings come to equal those of the Sugata himself. O Tathagata, may I and others have a form, an entourage, a lifespan, a pure realm, and sublime marks of perfection exactly like you. Through the power of our praising you and this prayer, in whatever land we dwell, may illness, negativity, poverty, and conflict be quelled, and dharma and auspiciousness increase and spread. That. And then next we move on to the King of Aspiration, and we read only the beginning of the King of Aspiration. Let me check until page, just the 7 limbs. The 7 limbs are numbered, so until page 6, half of page 6, the 7th one is the dedication, right? So we read that stanza, and so these are the 7 limbs, as you know. Now that we are in front of the Buddha, we make offering, we prostrate, we pay our respect, and we purify our negative karma, and and we rejoice in the great qualities of the Buddha, and we request the Buddha to turn the wheel of Dharma, basically to bless us, and we request the Buddha to remain, Dharma to remain, and Sangha to remain. And then we dedicate the merit, so that these 7 we do. You got it? It's the King of Aspiration prayers, Samanta Bhadra's aspiration to good actions. It's in the link. Okay. Homage to Manjushri, the youthful, to all the Buddhas, the lines of the human race in all directions of the universe, through past and present and future, to every single one of you, I bow in homage. Devotion fills my body, speech, and mind. Through the power of this prayer, aspiring to good action, all the victorious ones appear, vivid here before my mind. And I multiply my body as many times as atoms in the universe, each one bowing in prostration to all the Buddhas. In every atom preside as many Buddhas as there are atoms, and around them all their bodhisattva heirs. And so I imagine them filling completely the entire space of reality, saluting them with an endless ocean of praise, with the sounds of an ocean of different melodies. I sing of the Buddha's noble qualities and praise all those who have gone to perfect bliss. To every Buddha, I make offerings of the loveliest flowers, of beautiful garlands, of music and perfumed ointments, the best of parasols, the brightest lamps, and finest incense. To every Buddha, I make offerings, exquisite garments, and the most fragrant scents, powdered incense, heaped as high as Mount Meru, arranged in perfect symmetry. Then, in the vast and unsurpassable offerings, inspired by my devotion to all the Buddhas, and moved by the power of my faith in good action, I prostrate and offer to all you victorious ones. Whatever negative acts I have committed, while driven by desire, hatred, and ignorance, with my body, my speech, and also with my mind, before you, I confess and purify each and every one. With a heart full of delight, I rejoice at all the merits of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Pratyeka Buddhas, those in training, and the Arhats beyond training, and every living being throughout the entire universe. You who are like beacons of light shining through the worlds, who passed through the stages of enlightenment to attain Buddhahood, freedom from all attachment. I exhort you, all of you protectors, turn the unsurpassable wheel of Dharma. Joining my palms together, I pray, to you who intend to pass into nirvana, remain for aeons as many as the atoms in this world, and bring well-being and happiness to all living beings. What little virtue I have gathered through my homage, through offering, confession, and rejoicing, through exhortation and prayer, all of it I dedicate to the enlightenment of all beings. Yeah. Now that we accumulate a lot of merit through this, now we will do Refuge and Bodhicitta together. It's there, beginning. Please look into the description again. It says Refuge and Bodhicitta. We have to be very clear, because sometimes we get confused.
There's also the request to receive the loom for these prayers. Maybe at the end you can think about it in the sutras.
Okay, the sutra oral transmission, well, I read it during the teaching, if you listen. The thing is that it's very debatable whether you receive oral transmission through such online platform or not. And of course, I will do it. But there definitely will be blessing, because I received oral transmissions mainly from Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche, I believe, when he gave us the oral transmission of all the teaching of the Buddha, so for sure. And he received it from his grandfather, and I think also Dilgu Khyentse Rinpoche, not sure, but definitely from his grandfather Dujung Rinpoche when he was young. Okay. Now, Buddha still seated in front of us, faint smile on his face. Always think Buddha has this faint smile on his face. Okay, so this has a good connection. It creates a very warm environment. You want to know the power of such a visualization? Let's say one day like when I was in India, I was a monk, and sometimes we have to go to Nepal and such places for our manlam, to do manlam and stuff, and sometimes on the way, you have to stay in strange places, like sometimes you have to spend the night in some hotels that's like the wall is completely black, and all kind of things are there everywhere. There's no registration, nothing. You just go in and they give you a room, and sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming, and then like, of course it's not a great suffering, but nevertheless it's a bit disturbing, for us sometimes. So, and you just sit and then have such strong presence of Buddha in front of you, and I guarantee you it will really transform your experience of wherever you are. Blessing of Buddha is unsurpassable. So now we take then to refuge to the Buddha, and we receive the Bodhicitta vow from the Buddha. If it makes you feel good, better, you can even recite this refuge by holding of course you can visualize yourself like this in front of the Buddha, holding a lot of offering, like flowers and whatever. Or you could hold like the side of Buddha's Dhamma robe, and like this, and to feel closer if you want. Okay, I'm reading it now. Please read it together with me 3 times. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so on, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so on, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so on, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. And Buddha says, excellent, this is the method, and rejoice. Then the mantra is there. Number 5 is Shakyamuni mantra. So this we do just one mala. Buddha Shakyamuni in front of you, under the Bodhi tree, resplendent, shining like a sun or a moon, whichever suits you, and you completely protected by the light of Shakyamuni. Recite this mantra, teyatha, muni, mahamuni, Shakyamunaya, svaha, and As you recite, please think that the blessing of Shakyamuni flows from him and like a ripple of water expanding, it expands and it reaches to the end of this world and beyond. And being's mind is filled with noble qualities like renunciation, compassion, thoughts of impermanence, and all the way to the realization of emptiness and until the final liberation like this. So recite, looking at the Buddha. Shakyamuni svaha. Now we do the prayer for the longevity of Dharma. Where is it now?
They call it prayer for the future of the Dharma.
It's translated prayer for the future of the Dharma. In Tibetan, we just call it Tembarma. Tembarma meaning the blazing Dharma, because in this prayer, he says, may my Dharma blaze like a fire, like may it become more and more again and again. So this is a prayer made by Buddha himself in the Sutra, and it's very special. And if some of you, I mean, all of you, I think I know most of you. I can see your names, those who are saying some things, and you are all practitioners. And it would be nice if you recite this sometimes, because it's not just that it is, like I said before, it's not like it is written by some Lama, so even some Indian master, it is coming from Buddha, it's written by him. And it is his Dharma that we depend upon. So for sure, when he spoke those words, he had a vast vision of what it can bring. And as followers of Buddha, as people who believe that he is omniscient, I would like to believe that, we have to believe that when he spoke this prayer, some 1,000 years ago, he is and was aware of us reciting this prayer. Omniscience should be like that, no? So it also connects us. After this, then those who want to leave, that's kind of it. And I will read all of this in Tibetan once more for those who want to receive oral transmission, Praise to the splendid Buddha Shakyamuni. Yes. Okay. Prayer for the future of the Dharma. To the Buddhas, Vipassin, Sikhin, Vishvabhu, Krakuchanda, Kanakamuni, and Kashyapa, and Shakyamuni, Gautama, deity of all deities, to the 7 warrior-like Buddhas, I pay homage. In the past, to benefit beings, I bore all kinds of hardship and gave up my own happiness. Through this, made the teachings blaze long into the future. In the past, for the sake of the sick, I gave my life away. So, to protect the needy and the poor, made the teachings blaze long into the future. By my giving up sons, daughters, and wives, riches and elephants and chariots, for the sake of the treasure of enlightenment, may the teachings blaze long into the future. Through the offerings I made to the Buddhas, Prateka Buddhas, Sravakas, male and female, and to the great sages, may the teachings blaze long into the future. Through the sufferings I endured for many millions of aeons, seeking instruction for the sake of enlightenment, may the teachings blaze long into the future. Through my conduct of discipline and age-long asceticism, and my offerings to the Buddhas of 10 directions, may the teachings blaze long into the future. Through my diligence in the past, constantly stable and overcoming others' disruption, so as to liberate all beings, may the teachings blaze long into the future. Through my constant practice of patience and my tolerance of beings' harmful acts caused by the degeneration of their negative emotion, may the teachings blaze long into the future. Through my concentration, perfect freedoms, formless absorptions, and samadhis, as many as the grains of sand in the river Ganges, through the power of my meditation, may the teachings blaze long into the future. Through seeking wisdom in the past by practicing austerities in the forest and teaching countless shastras to others, may the teachings blaze long into the future. Through giving out of love my flesh and blood, giving my life away entirely, and giving arms and legs and every part of my body, may the way of the Dharma flourish and expand. In the past, with loving kindness, I caused harmful sentient beings to mature completely, and I led them to the 3 vehicles. Through this, may the gift of Dharma thrive and grow. In the past, with skillful means and wisdom, I liberated sentient beings from perverse views and led them to the correct view. Through this, may the Dharma increase in every way. With the four means of attracting disciples, I released beings from the fire of the emotions and vanquished rampant negativity. Through this, may my followers remain long into the future. I freed Tirthikas and others from the rivers of different views and led them to the correct view. Through this, may my followers always have devotion. May the teachings blaze long into the future. So, very nicely translated. And yeah, so that's, I think that is all in the list. So, now I will read in Tibetan, so the prayer session is now done, but oral transmission, hoping that there is some blessing. Where is it now? The oral transmission of the Noble Sutra recalling the three jewels. Jagargedo Arya Ratna Traya Anusmriti Sutra. Pyoge the Papa Conjusumgi. Conjusum Jesum do Tamji Jambala Chazolo de Deadra Sangjum de Dene de Jabazuma, Tabazanga to Pata Joseph, the River the Gimu, the Vikola, and Mabala, the Mazangum de Jabatan, son of the Gitu, Gives one of Chimis or Savage, but son of Jitan of G pages on one of the percentage of you remember to Baton of Timu Meba, Tebe Meba Namlangabarga, Sharaf Sijimino, Baton of the Zomi, but Sanjam Jitan, and the Yap Papi Kansan of the Japan, the Betonga to draw one of the Tepe, Yechepa to Meba Papa Samji Majabazuna Bartabayana, Bakucheta, which Omichakusuma, but the Bata, Maguba Suda, never Magabazuma, but the Madabadunga, the number drop, the letter of the number draw, come in the middle, magazine, and Damaduban, and the Boy also want the number draw, simple draw, truly, she owns over. Debata Majumba, the Rajubasanga, the Namji, and Nebanyang, the Balamene, Bayanda Baniji, Talanebasam, Zibesala Subate, the Danesangajum, the Namjikoche, and the Andabanamzo, the Bechin Tomargo, Partuga, Tamargo, Timus, and Butsitus, and Madepa, also Zopa, also Tapa, also Shower, Jum the Digital Leperson, Yanda Barton, Neme, the Jibama, the Badidon, the Kabanam, Jesus, and the Barcho, Jum the Jisum, Chudula, Leperta, Banyabarton, was open to the Warjaba, Mitim, to Bada, but Temba, Bujuacha, Tapashim, beginning, Leperso, then the oral transmission of praise of the Buddha. So yeah, that one also very important in Tibetan sort of Buddhism, scenario. All schools recite this one. Tibetoba tabge tukje ma tabge duje jajeri zu duje me duje bonjo baser jolombo taburje bigo shaje jabo chola chazolo kange tamburo chanju tukene sono meji soni zoze je tudir je baja jento way gonji chola tagi taburje lanam duje duwe lanam duje tulwe tukene lale bamne lanche tarshik de rilasine lamo jurju lumsu chubar zela chazolo dawo jiso shaje sebo tashi lumbisu to tambeze changda je jinji de senjo ne chanju risonge la chazolo chunu de mi senge de shunu top de mi senge te anga magadarni jutsal tenem 제가 저번에는 sarjene denda mebrazela chazolo jiden chodo tumbar chawada kanamado panjur tsumay korda de tabla chabay jesi chongarzela chazolo korwe chabar nimbo mesine kimne chunde khalashene jan chode namda tundo nile ni rabdo chongarzela chazolo chembe chonju tubar gonne ne neranjane damdo lodu do kawachene tunu tharjembe samde chonizela chazolo thomamene beba tuyir magada changchup shingdung jiljung miyo ngombara sangen changchup zobarzela chazolo tujo dolanyur dosine ne varanasi la sotne chod chojo kolokone dujanam tebasum lagoza chazolo shinju gowangi basarje mudu tembo so kromoji yuldu dunam tul tuba yulja zala chazolo sibasum na peme yonde jinyendo yobar churul chimbodu lame droga kunje rabche betemba jabar zala chazolo lelo chenam chola kulbe kulje chira chacho don die sashi samaro chimendo je tabu kushine nyangen dawar zala chazolo yanda ni de jikba mejra da maun semje sonam tabje jira dini dunere se maun ne kudun chaje zala chazolo tedra tembe dabu chemne jebe sola dosam tobai gewe droga kunje choba yanda shin je choda tombar so songbara so deshi jabe choku chita da kordo ko se de jingam ne je semje sombo chita wa dera kona daso jobra chela de so wata bedo daso konta ne beso so ne de bonta se wata chita reji pewarat ze do so.
The question if you can give the entire King of Aspiration.
Okay. Yeah, I will. All right then. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't make sense to give half of a reading of King of Aspiration, I guess. King of Aspiration. Jagarake Arya Bhadracharya Paranidhan Raja Pegi the Papa Sambochi Melanguage, Papa Jambashino Jubola Chazology, so the Jujin and the Sunchiba me singing to Taki Malita Ludangayam, Shajo, Sambochi Melam to the Javatam Chimusundu, Shingi Dunya Lurab by Javakuna of the Chazalo Dujin, Dujin, Dunya Sankanam Sangaseji, Una Shubata. Theatre Chuchi in the Malibatam Javataki Kamara, Tatangapa, Mr. Jasanamian, Jazatakunji, Javakunji, and the Rabji, Devasha Batam Taki, the method of Pachamatam, the senior of the Juba to Jota, Marmacho to Betambai, Jawata Dalana Chabarajana Sataman, the Juda Semipumar Ramya, the Gobaka Chukunji, Jawata Dalana Chabarji, Chabakano, Major Jawata Javan Jala, Sambola, Tebeta, Javakuna, Chato Chabarji, the Jaja that Timovang in the Ludanga, the Jinichi, Bataki, Batam Jatakas, Chuju, Javakunda, Sanki, Saranjalam, to Milo, the Dragon, Sonam Kalan, the Kunji, Kanam, Chuji, and Tomano, Sanki Machania. Gumbo da da gedam je lokol lana me bakorwa gunyang de denga je de la dwa gun le beje de vezir kalba shinge dunya chu pore ta gedam ro just over chi chaza wa de chi chawa de jisu yeran ku shi so ai gewa chu da ge chesa batam je da ge chunju chirngo de be sange nam da chu chu jigden ta na kan chu chabar jur kaya ma chen de taram jur bar samzo chunju rum bar sange chu chu kale shinam jinye bat da ja jir ho so da bar chu chunju chu de chawa da sange se che ko rab da gamwar chu chu sim che kanam jinye bat da da ne me de war chu dwa gun chu da chu chi tanam ne tumbar chu da wa to bar chu chunju chu batane da chu dwa gun de jawa tumbar jur sarap gun de chi pa jawa na ta to tan rab da jumwar chu jawa gun chu lob jur de sambo chu Churum Chabatami, the Patamanium Chamber. Chabaracho like Dulu Jigga Dumuta, the Major and the Drogan Chitanam Chisambatam Chekka, the Takashu, the Dejin Parachon, the Changes in the Major the Bakanam Temperature Bata, Tadamali also Shanwarasho, let the Moti and the Trochi, the Dronam, the Chitrapimachim Chabaji, the Namkatova Metra, Shinki, the son of December, the Shivers, the Watala, the Rogan, the Toatam and the Pemberche, Chanchup Chabayon, the Doja, Sem Takacho, the Temperature, some Chabatan, the Jamal Bakun, the Chabarajur, Takacho, the Sumber Country, but Tatane, Tato Chobarasho, the Ganam, Sem Chabatan, Malam Chitu, the Pember, the Petropo, the Sampachara, the Man, the Tata, Nami, Sangi Sechikorogum, Musum, the Takajawata, Mount Bakun, the Major, the Lanch of Bajaji. Javanam temperature change change chapakunda na warcha sambo chapa number chawaya maung kalpa kundu chapara je sibatam je duya korwana sona me chetane message thata sharap ting ting nam darda yende kunji message jo jo je dena dunya shinam de chindra samje me jab sange nam sange se jona chupata shukpa la chanju chapa je tawar je tata male tam je choso rasam cholo dusum sange sange je shinam je to kapa je rabdo juk suji ala je rakine take je jawakunya ala nam da bado kun sambaje je sange sona ta to jubar dusum che be jawatam je to kholo sono rabdo korwa tata ki so mesela lo to je tata rabdo maung kalpa tam je chupara ki kita je jubar je kaya kapa dusum the Kiji Chuba, this is a me singing at the Kiji Lataka, Tata the Takin, Jumar Nam Tartop, Jogan, the Zunda Kishan, about the Digital number of the Ramali, Chonam the Java Kishan, Kolojokan, Majid, the Toman, the Jumar Sanja, Kolo, the bar of the Chita, the Gumuku, the Tachi, who couldn't with the Toman, the Kundu, take with Tata, put in the Chibetan and the Kundu Chapachambata, the Kundu gave Sonam Tata, Chapa, Perjure, shade of Sharaf of the Tinsi of Taki, Chajutam, Yanta, to Bergiliton, Yanta, Legiton, also Taji, Numatum, the Kundu Jumar, the Mera, Sampo Chibetan, the Vajin, just number Taji. Samjay number 12. Churam Jasur the Tonji, Jasur to Tovar Chicha, number Taja, Malam Jasu, also Tovar Jasanga Jasur, the Chuchi, Kabajas, Major Chaparachi, Kan to some Shepe, Jakan to some Shepa Java, and Malam Charanam, Sambocha, Sang and taking Tagamali over Java, Kunji to Bakangamini Kunda Sansa, Jakava, Natsumber Chepe, Gavata, Cheraptongo, Lutamata, Hichanam, the Chichabanam, the China, Bango, some Kabachita, Vatata, some Chukuni, some Chepe, Jambajin, Malam Chepe, Mount Bakundu, Majority, Jamali, Zobarji, Chabataniche, Majority, and then Jesus, members of Jabatime, Balan, Jadabatam, Savarjinam, Getar to Jubachis, and Jamalata, Chisam Leton, Montarjurpata, Malam Thai, and Tetsamo, Kaya, Juchinam Thai, Baranji, the Javanam Bella, the Me, Division of the Shingi, Kapapo, Kango, Jabutin, Chanchuchokis, or Michelin, Javanasanam, the Chok to show the digital Kangas of Jumalam, the beginning is the Japon, the Netrovang, and Papa, and all that, they are Yurdo, Yadanya Baram, there was a Mr. and the Lepono to somebody, the Rembermeto, the Ginger, something about the Kipan, Kangavisha, the Sambo, the Ginger, the Molly, also Samar. Ishatane Suda Senam, the Rida Kadonam, the Dember, the Mudem, the Chitisum, Chaparajuro, Chanchiman, the danger to Sona Semji Pencher Tute. Chanchu Sange, Colorab to Cortunum, the Chapatam to Kana Sambochimalam, the Jamatan, Lona, the number Mimba, Sange, Chin, Chanchu Cholosumi, Major, Jambal Pojita Jamatun, Sambote, and the Tetakunji to Tolosing, the Tam Jerabung, to Jawatam, Ching, about the Taki, gave us our taking to Sambochi, over Jetanechi with the Jiman, the Patam Jetaneches, the Mosnava, they don't have watching Shinder up to the Zone and Malam, the Jatam Jamalung, the Jovara, shot the Tamalaki, also Kanchi, the Jim Jimper, Javich, Sanchi, Gawata, Pamamachi, the Legend, Javing, also to the Pantaka show. Ternataki Lunderab to Tubamu, Savata, the Chuchunum, Simjan, the Pema, which is some Malam, the Gavans, the Kitchen, Sapatan, Malam, Gavan, Gichi, some person, the Tamakon, the Dragon, Obama, Penner of the Malam, the Chokota, Dragon, Pensico, somebody mentioning to the Maluton Bar show. Yes, on the Maluton Bar, Papa, some Malam, Jabo, so that King of Aspiration. Then where is the for the longevity of the Dharma. The last prayer that we did, I read this now. Prayer for the future of the Dharma. People, some are asking questions. Can you see? Yeah, you replied that. Yeah. Correct question.
Keep
Yeah,
the
yeah.
links and the video.
Yeah, it will be there. Yeah. Tembar majuzo sangen namzo zudur damje jobo korwaji dazirdu subda shacho toba Gautam laila sanget baudun la chazolo simjin do dagin kawa kangsi jejuba tagi dewa tangwai temba yurin bajurji ngingun ne bechada do rangi tsowa yon tangwai simje pomba cha bezir temba yurin bajurji barjurji buddha bumo chungma da norda langchen shingda da ranjin changchub chir tangwai temba yurin barjurji tagi sange rangsangi nyende pada madani changso tala chuji be temba yurin barjurji kalba chewa tumar tha dungal na so nyong gyurjing changchub tendo tue zalbe temba yuring bar gyurjing dagi sutrim tushuk da katub yuring ten jejing chochu sange ngechebe temba yuring bar gyurjing dangwe zundu tang denbe tado tenjing parul nun semjen tamje daldundu temba yuring bar gyurjing sudul tado tenjejing semjen nyomo nigma yi semjen nge semjen ngenje so gyurpe temba yuring bar gyurjing samden namdar sume da tingzing kange chinye ba gombe tetu dagi ne temba yuring bar gyurjing yeshe tendo dagi ngun katub na da tenjejing tenju tuma nyerdembe temba yuring barjurji tsewe jui shata da tsowa yonzo tang gyurjing yangla ningla tangba yi chusul nambar pe jurji tangin tikbe semjen nam champe salwar min jeshi tekpa sumla rabke be chujin ge jurji tangin tapche churbana semjen tangin le draji yanda tala ko je be chunin nambar pel jurji tagi semjen dungweji nyomomele tarjejin tagi tagge peldik pamje pe tagur yuring ne jurji 타기 무덱 첸셰다 타베 출레 달 제테 양다 탈라 코 주르베 타고르타도 그 주르지 유링 템바 파르조르지 소놈데 탐지직 번니 톰네니 베다남 폼제 데 쩨간나지 발롱 초바이 시베솔레 조와 둥갈 멘지부 조와 둥갈 멘지부 데와 탐지 주원에 템바니다 코데다 쩨디 유링 네 주르지 루절 고 녀르고 워시안 통겐네 번남 세링네메 부즘 수타도 데와 템바라 쇼 창주 셈저 럼보지 마제 번남 쩨바다 쩨바냠바 메바야 코네 콘도 페버지 점벌 보지데라 점보도 군도 점보 대한 대진데 대다 군제 제조 달로 징게와 데다 탐제럽도 So that's it. Thank you very much. I hope that today has been, this day has been very meritorious for you, and it's still not over. So if you were like me, not being able to practice till now, so you still have time. I think there are some teachings of Dongsa Khyentse Rinpoche released today, and also teachings of other masters. And anyway, you all have your own different practices which you can and you should do. What happens with this? Yeah, this oral transmission is like this. So this is so the first, these teachings were spoken or taught by the Buddha, or someone like Nagarjuna. And then they give the teaching to their student, and the student gives the teaching to the future, to the future, to the future. It means that today reading from today, when you sort of go back, I received it from teachers like Dongsa Khyentse Rinpoche and Sakya teaching for sure, like this. When we do Shakyamuni together, Rinpoche has a mic, so he's also reciting it loudly like this. So then we receive these prayers, and it goes back and back and back. They received from their teacher, they received from their teacher, all the way to the Tibetan translators, like more than 1,000 years ago, who received it from their Indian masters, Nepalese and Indian masters. So they then go back and back until it comes to people like Ananda or Sariputra, or and then they received it directly from Buddha. So that's why we consider it it's not just auspicious, but it's like the life force of Dharma that's sort of kept alive through generations and generations. So for the thousands of years, it's been this tradition of reading is passed on. Not just reading, we also have tradition of receiving the teachings too. So yeah, so it's like that. And So, and I thank Rebecca, of course, because this has been completely her initiative and arranged everything and done everything by her. And thank you so much. There have been people who really try to support, these programs by telling people about it and or telling us, oh yes, this sort of, very useful, very beneficial. Then somehow ordinary being like us, we feel like, oh, so then we must do it. So it's like that. Yes, and so I think that's it. There was no question unanswered, right? Okay. Thank you so much. And yes, my daughter also participated. She's been sleeping here on Rebecca's arm. And that's it. I think I should stop it. The video will be on YouTube, yes. Yes, and what is it? Since the coronavirus is still going on, I don't know, stay away from strangers. Don't kiss them directly and wash your hands. You don't know where they've been. Okay.